Hey, thanks for joining me in this video. If you've noticed recently that your traffic or your rankings in the local Google Map pack has been reducing, it may not be for the reasons that you think. It may be because Google has been recently swapping out the local map pack with AI generated local results, and you may not be being mentioned. And so with that being said, I'm Caleb Turner. I'll show you what's been developing recently and some tips for staying on top of things. On the screen here, you can see an example of a local result that's generated by AI. As you can see, this is related to a personal injury lawyer. You see the AI overview at the top, and then below, again, you see the AI generated map pack. And this is near where I am in Los Angeles. Here's another example. You see it says Chinese food near Washington, D.C. And again, AI generated results generated through query fanouts and presented to the user. And as I'll show you here in a moment, these results are typically different than what you will see in the local standard map pack, right? So it's not like they're showing the same exact thing. There is a little bit of overlap, but generally speaking, it's completely different. So ranking in the standard local map pack does not equate to showing up in these AI generated local results. And here's another distinct type of result, but again, local searches that are showing businesses in the local area and on maps that are different than what we are used to. So we are accustomed to local results not being as affected by AI, but that's something that's been slowly but surely changing, as I mentioned in this video. Now you can see here a snapshot kind of the difference or general difference that you will see between the classic map pack rankings and the local results. This image does look a little faded, but essentially you get an AI summary, you get links under each respective summary to AI mode, and a short list that is different than what you will see again in the classic maps. Now, to be clear, we're seeing these show up mostly in standard Google's front page. When someone searches on the front page for a local business or a local relevant query, we're seeing these local AI generated results show up more and more often. Haven't really seen this when someone goes directly to maps and types in, right? Because sometimes someone may go directly to the map and type in, but generally they will go to Google's front page and type in, best pizza place in Los Angeles or what have you. And that's where we're seeing these results. Just wanted to be clear about that. According to a recent study, which I'll post in the description box below this video, 44% of the time when people were searching on mobile, these AI generated local results were shown. And again, it's not the same results that you'll see in the standard local map pack. As you can see here, 70% of the time it was different. So it's not like it's showing the same thing that you would see anyway. So the optimization and the retrieval and the recommendation from these AI generated local results are distinct from the standard results. And then 55% of the time on desktop, so this is not the AI generated local map pack, which was not showing, but 55% of the time it showed AI overviews, which is the summary that pops up at the top that may tell you what businesses are the best, etc. Right? In this case, in this particular study, it's referring to law firms. And then 77% of those results were, again, different, distinct, disparate from what you will see in the standard local rankings. So that's important because a lot of people are saying, well, SEO is the same thing as AEO. It's all the same thing. No, not really. SEO is the foundational layer, and GEO or AEO is an additional layer on top. And here's a short visual explaining the same thing. Again, 44% of the time on mobile, you saw these results, these local map pack, AI generated local map pack results. And then 55% of the time on desktop, you saw AI overviews. And as I already mentioned, 70% of the time and 77% of the time, respectively, they were distinct, they were different than what you would see on the typical results, right? The standard results that we're all used to. So, what are the terms that most often trigger these results? Well, instead of searching lawyer in X city, when you add best or when you add top or when you add affordable, etc., these AI generated results popped up more often, which is to say, middle and bottom of funnel type terms, type queries, which is to say that the person searching it is showing intent, showing that they intend to purchase, showing that they intend to actually use these services. So that's very important as well. This is a significant difference because your standard local rankings or just your rankings in general do not necessarily affect if you will show up or not in these AI generated results. So again, AEO, GEO is distinct from SEO. There is overlap. They are related. Yes. Start off with the fundamentals, making sure your GBP is all filled out. You have the NAP, name, address, phone number on your website that matches your GBP. You're uploading photos regularly. You're uploading updates regularly. You have your business hours. You have a review pipeline and good reviews coming in regularly as much as possible. And then on top of that, you want to optimize for these terms that I told you are coming up more often. Terms like affordable, terms like best. You want to optimize and create pages on your website that answer some of these specific questions. I would start off with keywords that are related to these terms like best lawyer in X city, most affordable plumber in X city, etc. And then I would run the query fan out on those particular terms to answer the questions that people are most likely to ask and create distinct pages for each group. You understand? And you want to make sure it's optimized for AI retrieval, which is to say chunking, FAQs, TLDRs, key takeaways at the top of the page, etc. You want to optimize your website for AI retrieval, and then all of the standard SEO things like building your website's authority, making sure your website is semantically relevant in general for some of these terms that you want to come up for. All of that is going to be important as well. Building quality backlinks, building local business directory citations and profiles. That's going to be very important as well, because that shows AI that you're not only considered important on your own website, but other businesses and other websites also validate your business as a reputable, as a legitimate local business. All right, so all of the basics, making sure your website and your GBP is optimized for your local area. Make sure you also show your address in your GBP. That's going to be very important as well. It helps you rank in your local area. Make sure your profile is filled out, business directories, all of that good stuff. And then, as I already mentioned, you want to create content for these top queries and these top terms. Make sure you have, your TLDR, your key takeaways at the top of the content. Make sure your content is chunked, which is to say broken down into smaller sections, which makes the content more retrievable for AI. That's what they're actually pulling. They're pulling sections. They're not pulling the entire document. So you want to have the SEO layer and then the AEO layer optimized on top of that. And then you want to be very consistent. And primarily you're going to track leads, right? So you're going to track the key events on your website. You're going to track bookings. You're going to track calls. You're going to have a UTM tagged URL on your GBP. That way you're able to track people who click through to your website from your GBP. And you're able to track if they book, etc., right? If they fill out your contact form. And in Google Search Console, it's going to show clicks, but there's not a separate bucket for AI. So if you see those clicks improving, again, in your Google Search Console for some of these relevant queries and terms, a lot of this can be coming from the AI bucket. Again, those are not separated in your Google Search Console. And then what you can also do is manually, or have people on your team manually search, right? Using incognito, clearing cookies, clearing cache, etc. And using incognito, have them manually search regularly to see if you're showing up in these local AI generated results. If you have a business and you want to grow your organic traffic, your organic leads, etc., through SEO and AEO, don't hesitate to reach out. Go into the description box. I can run your website through a free checklist, let you know what you're missing and what needs to be fixed, and you can either fix it yourself or we can do it for you. All right, take care.